What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Quest Podcast. Got some good news here for you this week. Hopefully my voice doesn't sound too sickly because I am coming off the flu. But we have got a very special guest this way. KMEGA, man, how are you doing?
Man, glad to be here, man. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Yeah.
Well, that's good to hear, man. And then as for the usual panel, how you doing, M. Baines?
Yo, I'm good, man. Glad to have KMEGA on and ready to get these topics.
For sure. Optimus, man, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Just happy to have KMEGA on. It's finally come that time where he graces us with his almightiness.
Stop it.
I think I was trying to get you on for a while, and then you had multiplayer, and then we were switching days and things like that. It got crazy for a while there. So glad to have you on, man.
Oh yeah, man. I'm very happy to be here, man. I'm glad we finally got to do it now. Just need to get the other members over there coming on GRG, man. Do this collaboration like we were talking about.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, for sure. And as always, we like to start off the podcast with talking about what we've been playing this week. So I'll go ahead and kick it off to you, KMEGA. What games have you been playing this week, man?
The Witcher. I beat the Witcher. It was fantastic. I was kind of nervous because I went on a year layoff from playing it, but then I got back on it and just no-lifed it. I just picked up on everything and this was just fantastic. And then I've been playing some COD. Believe it or not, I've been off for a couple of days because of the weather, and my friend, he loves COD. So I've been on there, and I have to say, I've been very impressed with this COD. I didn't like the beta at all, but I've been killing it. So it's really fun. So kudos to Activision for bringing back Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's not a bad Call of Duty by any means. I don't play it much myself, but not bad to pick up and play occasionally. Yeah. Optimus, what have you been playing this week?
I played a little bit of PUBG last night. Got that chicken dinner finally, man.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to Oh Snap It's Mel and Vogel and Delirium Blades. We worked together and we got that chicken dinner, man. It was awesome. Also been playing a little bit of Bayonetta 1 and 2. I finished 1 and now I'm on 2. Almost done with 2, actually. Pretty good. I like it. I didn't get to play the second one when it came out on the Wii U, so I'm playing it now on the Switch. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time with it. Also played a little bit of Halo with Bot and Snaps and stuff, and we just played some Halo, and I was wrecking it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, Remix, I was wrecking, dude. It was awesome.
That's funny.
I was shotgunning people in the face, especially Vogel. I was like, Vogel, come here, and I shotgun him in the face. It was great.
Yeah, I saw you guys playing that the other day. Nice.
But yeah, man. Other than that, that's all I've been playing.
For sure. And Baines, what have you been playing this week, man?
I completed the story portion of Monster Hunter. Now I'm doing some in-game grinding on that, and then I started up the Evil Within too. Mm-hmm. So that's about it.
So how do you, after fully pretty much completing the main portion of the game, how do you feel about your end summary of Monster Hunter World?
We were talking in the DM, and Leo, he kind of said, well, nothing's come out this year, basically. But it's got my vote for game. If we were to vote right now, it's the game of the year. But like I said, we hadn't had much to come out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it'll take a lot to top it. So we'll just have to see what else comes out for the rest of the year. But yeah, man, it's my game of the year. I'm still doing in-game grind. The in-game grind is good to me. So definitely top of the list. I could see this making at least top 3, top 5 game of the year list, across the board as far as your major publications. So we'll see.
Nice. All right. Well, as for myself, I've been playing a little bit of Siege, a little bit of PUBG, and I actually I hopped into and played some Cuphead with my buddy. We were playing some couch co-op, and that was my first time playing Cuphead, and that was a lot of fun. Cuphead's a real good game, and we beat the first kind of Ink World or whatever they call the first big area. But that game's a lot of fun so far, and I'm definitely gonna continue playing that. But anyways, we'll go ahead and hop into these topics for the night, starting off with March's games with gold. These games are going to be Trials of the Blood Dragon, Super Hot on the Xbox One, and for 360 and backwards compat, we will have Brave, the video game, as well as Quantum Conundrum. So what are you guys' thoughts on these games lineup for March?
The only one I'm really interested in is Super Hot. And that's only because it looks like something I haven't played before. Trials Blood Dragon, that was like, okay, you know, I tried playing Trials Fusion and I didn't really like it as much. Then I, you know, Brave, like I was just like, what? I was just like, this game, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's probably good. I'm sure it's good for, you know, kids and stuff, you know. I'm pretty sure, you know, my nephew's gonna want to play it, so I'll probably download it for him. But then there's also the other one, the
Quantum Conundrum.
Conundrum, which is basically like Portal, but an indie version of Portal, basically. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm iffy on that one. But I mean, you know, this lineup, it's all right. You know, it's not too bad. It's not the worst one we've had, but I think it's, you know, it could have been better for sure.
Yeah, some fine little freebies in there. I actually haven't checked out Quantum Conundrum, so I haven't seen any of the gameplay on that or anything. So I might actually have to give that a little look. If it is like Portal, that might be kind of fun. So. What about UK Mega? What is your thought on the lineup this month?
Thank God for Game Pass. For the gaming lineup that I have, that I can, you know, just go back and pick up on some games in my backlog, because this lineup is it's not the business. I'm not really interested in any of these games, and so therefore it just I might download Super Hot just because that might be a game that potentially comes down to be a VR game when Xbox decides to implement VR, and so that's the only thing that I could really look at. Everything else I could care less about. This is a weak lineup, but it's to be expected because of the fact of they're putting so much emphasis behind Game Pass, and so either you're gonna, you know, having gold is a plus because they are free games, but again, Game Pass is just where their focus is, and I expect them to start looking like this more often, especially when we don't have, you know what I'm saying, we don't really know what else is going to be coming down the pike from them. So I'm not interested.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there, KMEGA, about, you know, they're kind of shifting from, you know, games with gold to more like Game Pass, you know, putting a lot of their games into Game Pass instead. It seems like that's kind of what they're doing with, you know, like not giving us too many like really big exclusive or big, you know, AAA.
Like old AAAs and stuff.
Yeah, they're not giving us old AAAs. They're giving us kind of like things that we're just like, whatever, you know, maybe I'll download it, maybe I won't. You know, it's kind of, it's been like that for a couple months now, and seems like that's what the direction that they're trying to go, is trying to go towards more Game Pass and trying to get people to buy that. And, you know, and I think definitely as soon as the exclusives hit, people are going to flock to that, you know,
right,
real quick.
Right. And that's the thing of it that makes it even more interesting, or I should say, I don't know, maybe you could look at it as maybe shade a little bit, but I mean, it's all business at the end of the day. So that's how I look at it. But there's some people that might think that they get slated because if they're paying for gold and then they're paying for the Game Pass, they might feel like, well, why is this not included with gold? Which, as you know, they're going to be bringing their new titles to come onto the Game Pass, and so it's beneficial on them on both ways. So they are getting you both ways if you got Game Pass and you get gold. But I just look at it as that the games in the future for games with gold is gonna start being light like this. So I mean, just get ready for it.
But these aren't like totally horrible. I mean, Super and Trials are like little fine freebie games. But But it is nice, you just with your games with gold, you do like to see an occasional, old classic or old AAA game that maybe you missed out on that you can go back to and play again. Any other wrapping up thoughts on this, Baines, or nah?
Well, I mean, the only one I would have been interested in somewhat would have been Super Hot, and like KMEGA just said, if seeing as how Microsoft might have a VR system down the line, I may pick that one up just to have in the pocket. But since I already have the PlayStation VR, I was already moving toward trying to get Super Hot on the PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
So I'll have it on both, just to see. But that's the only game that out of this lineup that I had any interest in whatsoever. So
yeah. General consensus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on, guys. We got a new trailer for the game Biomutant that we've talked about on the podcast here before. So we saw some some new mechs in that trailer and stuff. So what do you guys think about the game trailer? Yeah,
I liked it. I liked the trailer. The trailer was fantastic, but talking about the game so much, it just say it better not be $60. It looks cute, but to me it looks like it has like when he was running across in the snow, that looked really good. When he was on the water, that looked good. But of course, like when you look at him, he's look like he's got these really skinny legs. I don't know, but if it's a $30 game, I would cop it. Anything more, I would just wait until it goes on sale, probably at the end of the year. But it's a cool little game. I can see me playing it for a couple of hours, binge out for a little bit, and then never go back to it again. That's just kind of one of those titles that it looks like to me. But if the price is right, I'll get it.
Mm-hmm. So what would they have to do in order for it to become a $60 game? For it to be worth that value.
Well, I mean, it has to look better graphically. It's a good looking game for what it is, but it seems like it's just it's in there in the same realm of an indie game, and combat. It looks cool. I mean, it's very unique, especially when he's running around on some fingers or something like that. That was pretty cool. But it just doesn't look like a $60 game. It looks like this is more in the indie category, and hopefully they will price it, because I don't see any other way that they could do it. Even if they added DLC, because it would still look the same. But that's just my opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
This game kind of has this Monster Hunter goofiness to it, which I kind of like. When I saw the gameplay, I was just like, okay, it's got it's definitely different from Monster Hunter, but its goofiness is kind of like Monster Hunter's, where Monster Hunter is kind of like a goofy game. It kind of does some different goofy things. Kind of makes everything look cute, like your Palico and things like that. And it looked like from the trailer, like when I was watching it, I was just like, is that a Palico? I thought I was thinking to myself, like, it looked like a Palico, but I was just like, they kind of, are they taken from Monster Hunter? They might be. But I'm interested in the game. I kind of agree with KMEGA where, I don't think it'll be a $60 game. But the time, if it does come out at $60, if it does, they better put in a lot of, time in the story and in the gameplay, because it's supposed to be an RPG. It should be very long. It shouldn't be like less than 20 hours, So yeah. It was an interesting little trailer.
I don't think I can put like a price tag on this game yet, because I know how it looks and stuff. I think it looks fine, honestly. I just need more concept about what the game is, because based off the trailer, you just kind of get little clips. I felt like the trailer didn't necessarily make that much sense. It showed you like, oh, here's like a wall mechanic, and it shows you hopping along the wall or jumping onto the wall, and then it shows you like, oh, here's this weird hand mech that you like do shooty shit with, and it just like, it doesn't explain, what is the hand? Is that one of these mechs that you can get, and how because like the title of the article was kind of about the mechs, and there was only like 3 or 4, I think, and we didn't learn anything about them. So I'm kind of more just here sitting back and waiting for more information on this game, because I feel like we didn't get much from the trailer, and it was ultimately kind of choppy and just little snippets of random little like game mechanics, I felt. But
right, I think I'm in the same boat. I'm in the same boat with you, Remix. We got to see a little bit more before we can come close to putting any type of tag on it. I know when I first saw it, and it was during E3 when I first caught an eye on this, and it looked pretty decent. As far as how it looks like they're trying to build an RPG, like Audience was saying, out of this game. And most RPGs are huge games. I know the character probably can put a lot of people off, but if there's a story behind the character, then and they can feel a pretty decent sized world, then you got yourself a full-fledged title. But I think the trailer was basically there to show off some gameplay mechanics, show off some different things that may be in the game. It didn't really try to build or try to tell you anything about the story. It was basically just a flashy trailer. So we really don't have much right now. We have the little flashes that we've seen here and there. But I mean, I'm interested, but we'll just have to see, how the title comes out, and then we can say whether the dollar value is worth it or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, personally, I thought its supposed flashiness just turned out to look a little bit more clunky. But
it did.
Do you think that so like this is maybe a little bit, you can place in the category of a JRPG kind of being westernized, and you had Final Fantasy 15, and now you have Monster Hunter World, both definitely much more westernized JRPGs. Do you think we're going to kind of see a bigger surge of kind of that genre of game coming over to the States?
I mean, if so,
you already see it with.
Go ahead, Adamus.
You already see it with, like you said, Monster Hunter, and then you also see it with I see it with Code Vein when that comes out, where it's kind of westernized type of gameplay and maybe even story a little bit here and there. And this game, Biomutant, I don't think it's a game in Japan. I think it's a THQ Nordic game. Yeah. So that kind of goes to tell you that it might be good, it might be bad, because THQ seems to kind of go along the lines of Platinum Games when they make video games. They kind of make good ones and then the bad ones, and then they make a good one again. So it just depends on if this game comes out and it sells. And I mean, it looks cool, but I mean, like you said, it might not be westernized for some people, and stuff like that. So who knows? We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts, guys?
No, I mean, I guess I should say it's the game has potential. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay it to the fact of saying that it's an indie, because there's a lot of great indies out there, but it's just, to me, it's about the price. And like dude said, we haven't seen enough. And so but what I've seen so far, it hasn't given me the indication that I would want to spend $60 on that game. That's what I'm trying to say, basically. So
Sure. All right, well, moving on. Microsoft is possibly going to add the ability for people to buy games through Mixer. So if you're watching a streamer that you enjoy and they're playing a specific game and you go out and purchase that game, then that streamer is compensated in some sort of way, kind of like on Twitch recently added. So what are you guys' thoughts on this?
It's smart. I mean, they're doing the same thing that Twitch is doing. Might as well, kind of take a play out of their playbook and, kind of do something like that. I mean, they wouldn't have probably done this if they didn't see, Twitch doing so well with it. And it looks like Twitch is doing well. with the whole, you know, buying games and through the stream.
Yeah, and I feel it's also kind of
it's
go ahead.
Well, it's also, you know, it's gonna give people that they've never, you know, played before, or, you know, it'll definitely sales of these games as well, which is good for the industry and it's always good for the consumer.
Yeah, and also I feel it's kind of warranted just because, you know, the streamer is ultimately advertising your game and pushing your game, and especially if they're enjoying it and they have a large audience. So you know, if somebody does make the decision to buy a game based off that streamer, I do think, you know, they deserve a little compensation for that. I think that's worthwhile and a good thing as well. So,
as for me, I think that it's really smart. And if you have gone and read reports about Mixer compared to Twitch, Mixer has gotten a much more positive rating when it comes to people that just wants to go and just watch. So that's a plus for them. And of course, since Twitch is the king, you know, everybody's going to follow suit and try to implement some things to make their streaming service better. So this is also going to open a lot of opportunities for small developers to try to promote their games to big time streamers that's on Mixer, and maybe even, you know, small time guys to be more committed to want to advertise their games and also try to build up their channel. So there's a lot of great possibilities to it. And also just think about this too, fellas. This could be the start of something to where we've heard in the beginning of 2013 where they were actually really thinking of trying to do digital sales and trying to have like a, you know, I don't know, like an eBay for digital games. And so maybe if they can try to implement this might be something that could come on to the future to the Xbox fan base, to where the games that they have digital, they make them try to sell them themselves.
That'd be a kind of interesting idea. Do you want to elaborate on the eBay concept at all? How exactly does that work?
Well, I mean, from their thought process, well, from what they were trying to say, from, you know, all the things about, you know, the family sharing and all this and that, you know, that got scrapped. Then there was the rumors that was talking about that they were wanting to, you know, for people that was buying digital, that they were thinking that they could eventually start having, you know, if you've ever been to G2A, G2A.com is for PC games. You go there, you can sell games that you got. It was kind of like it was kind of ripping off the developer a little bit because of the fact that, you know, they were selling games, they were undercutting prices. But now, since I've gone back over there, I haven't been there in a while, except for just recently, I should say. And I've seen that the prices has gone up. They've cleaned up their act. The games are a little bit higher, but they're still affordable. So, and for those gamers that has like a huge library of games and they've beaten these games, then they're kind of lost in limbo. And this kind of takes out the middleman for the GameStops, because of the fact that, you know, once those games are out there in rotation, GameStop gets all the money, the developers don't. With this, if there's a cut that the gamer can get for their, well, I should say the gamer, but the developer can get for every purchase that somebody sells a digital copy of their game, then I don't think anybody would be upset about that, because it's not only helping the developer, but it's helping the gamer too to build income to go buy a new game.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting if they implemented that some way.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see. Anyways, Baines, you have any thoughts on Microsoft adding the ability to buy games through Mixer?
Well, I've been hearing more and more positive news about Mixer. You know, a lot of people have been coming out and saying how good of a service it is. So if you're already getting all of these praises, then it's best to go ahead and get on par, at least with your competition in a lot of the other areas, so that you could eventually surpass them. So, you know, this is something that's inevitable. Twitch has got it. Mixer's going to have it at some point. And then once they get on a level playing field with all of their services, everything that they offer, which Mixer is already better in some sense too, because of the interactivity, then they can just go ahead and, you know, pass them. So I mean, there's always people that's trying to look for other platforms, you know, be it YouTube, people trying to dip from YouTube to go other places, and a lot of people have problems with Twitch too. Mixer's another service. These are just monopolies in there right now. They're monopolies in their own, you know, stratosphere. But you know, Mixer's coming into that playing field. So offering services like this is what they need to do to go ahead and take the throne if they can. So
yeah,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if people are just too afraid to compete, or if you know, the companies that have tried to create their own services just don't have enough of a backing, as Mixer does with Microsoft. But Mixer has really come, I feel, you know, starting to really come into its own, and you know, become a more and more prominent service, which is
you know, a lot of times when you're an entrenched business and you got a lot of you hold a lot of weight, there's a lot of backroom deals that can keep the little guy out. But when you have somebody like Microsoft to buy Mixer, Microsoft is not a little guy. So now Microsoft can go in and do things that maybe Mixer by itself wasn't able to do.
Definitely.
And that's the thing, you know, with Mixer, it like you said, it's come a long way. But I think the reason why I think it's doing so well for the most part is because it's easy to just stream. You know, you can just stream from your Xbox. You don't even need a camera or anything. You have a mic and a headset or whatever, and your controller in your hand, and you can just stream. And that's the beauty of it.
Because there's definitely a large community of streamers on Mixers that aren't regular streamers. They're just, you know, streaming for a bit of fun because why not, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a good point as well. Anyways, though, moving on, Rainbow Six Siege, Ubisoft has kind of recently come out and said what their plans are for the game. They aren't planning on making a sequel at least anytime soon. They kind of have this 10-year plan for the game, you know, adding in more maps and probably event modes, kind of like the I can't remember. I don't know if it's called Outbreak or not, but whatever mode that they're going to be bringing with their next update, similar to that, probably, you know, as well as more operators. They plan to hit 100 operators over the course of this time. So what are you guys' thoughts on this model for Siege? And, you know, do you think it's a good model or a bad model?
I think it'll work. You know, I mean, Rainbow Six Siege 2, I mean, what would it really be? Why don't you just add on to the juggernaut that you already have, you know, and bring in more operators, get more maps, whatever they want to do. They brought this game from the gutter to prominence. You know what I'm saying? This game is still going strong years later, you know, after the rocky start. So why not just build on a lot of games shit, especially sports games? They should just build on to the game instead of giving you a whole new game. Rainbow Six is one of those. Just build on to it. I think it's a good thing. A lot of people love the game. They're doing their transactions the right way. So just keep it going.
Yeah, even though I've never really been into the game, you know, their strategy on this game is smart, man. I mean, you know, Ubisoft is killing it right now with the Rainbow Six. You know, I mean, it's probably one of the top games on Xbox right now. You know, I think it's second place or something like that. You know, of games that are being played on you know, on the console, and it's like, you know, this game, it's gonna have a lot of longevity, and it sounds good that they're, you know, keeping up with that. And saying, you know, hey, we're gonna have 100 operators. We're gonna have, you know, more stuff, more maps, more things like that. Giving you guys more DLC. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for it, but I think at the end of the day, I mean, you're getting what you're paid for, you know, and that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think December is always a horrible time to put out games. I mean, we've seen this with Tomb Raider. We've seen this with The Last Guardian. We've seen this with Dead Rising 4. I mean, December is like a graveyard. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's broke. People are ready to relax, you know, open up their presents. People don't have really that much disposable income to want to buy another game, especially after Black Friday. So I could see why they put it because there were so many heavy hitters. But kudos to them for keep doing it, and kudos to Ubisoft because now they haven't only did this with Siege, but they're doing this with Ghost Recon. They're doing this with The Division. I mean, they're really actually, letting these games keep going forward. And Siege is coming to its own now, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. And why would they want to make a sequel when they're constantly killing it right now by making great content? So that's where it's more about, instead of them wasting money on building another game and new engine and all of this, just keep adding DLC until people just stop buying it.
Now, do you think that this stems from a lot of the when they were going to get bought out by that one company, or there was going to be like a hostile takeover? You think this is kind of like stemming from that? They're kind of like showing the consumer that they really do care, and they're kind of like trying to show that, because I mean, they've had some ups and downs in the past. Do you think this is kind of like something that has to do with that, or do you think this is just what they want to do? This is what they're, this was their plan all along, and I just don't know. I mean, I feel like it kind of has to do with, them kind of getting that hostile takeover over there.
Well, I believe that Ubisoft's probably there might have been some outside pressure from that, but I think overall they needed an attitude change in a sense of what their company was doing, because their fans weren't enjoying their games and they had a lack of sales, and that hostile takeover probably put some extra third-party pressure on them. I think the reason they're going forward with Siege and using this model for it is because it's already proven itself to work after, it's only been a couple years and they've only added one more new season of content so far, but still already proven that this is a model that's working, that's continued to grow, that is continuing to grow and has worked with other games that have, kind of a similar following and similar like bringing up, but not necessarily the same genre of game. And so I feel like they just, saw what was happening and that this was the trend the game was going on. And so why not continue to put money into that plan?
Right. And another thing, that game was pretty original when it came out. I mean, we've seen games like that before, but that game is so tactical and it really is great to watch on a stream, because even if you're not the greatest at playing it, or if you don't play it, you can still watch it and enjoy other people to play it. It's a really cool game. And I'm glad that it's gotten the success that it has. But I also think that to answer Ottoman's point, I think they want to go with that PC model. I think all these games, they want to go with that model of just adding more content, because that saves so much more money than going ahead and buying new games. And I think that that's what the vision is for a lot of games coming down the line. I mean, just look at Grand Theft Auto. People coming out thinking that Grand Theft Auto is going to come out sometime in the next year or so too. No, not if they keep bringing this content and they just keep.
And they coming out for 5 years.
yeah. And you got Red Dead right here. Red Dead's going to get its shine. So we might not see it might be that big of a gap like it was last generation before we seen Grand Theft Auto 4 to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Well, that's the thing. Like you said with Red Dead Redemption. I mean, look at how long it's taken us to get Red Dead Redemption 2. Because they killed it with the multiplayer of GTA 5, and they just kept on putting out content and things like that, and that whole PC model, like you said, with like especially like games like CS:GO and things like that. It's like, it's kind of good that games are going this direction in a way, especially when it's a multiplayer game. I hope not every game goes that direction, but I mean, if they definitely, because I know Monster Hunter World's going to kind of do that too, where they're going to kind of give you content here and there, and I'm sure they said that they don't want to do like a 10-year plan model, but I think if since they saw the sales of this game, they're probably going to kind of probably do it because until probably their sequel comes out or whatever. But I think it's just good for the industry, man, for this kind of thing to go on and people hearing about Rainbow Six Siege. I'm sure there's probably somebody out there that hasn't heard about it, and they're like, oh, this game Rainbow Six Siege, I think I'm gonna go and check it out, and they check it out on the stream, and then they buy it or whatever, and then they start playing it. It's just it's a word of mouth and full circle.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
As a fan of Siege, that I still play it pretty regularly. I wasn't too sure about the 10-year plan at first because I do want a new set of maps and new operators and stuff. But honestly, bringing out a Siege 2, I don't know if that actually really just makes sense for development process because it is such a meta focused game. So as you add new characters in, it changes the meta of who the best characters are, and little nerfs and tweaks and equipment changes are added here and there in the game, which can change that whole meta process. And so I don't think it makes sense to come out with a second game because they already have this established meta, and adding it's much easier to create new operators and come out with those and see how they change and affect the game because everybody's playing the new characters when they first come out, So
and how much do those characters kind of change the gameplay?
I mean, they can change a fair bit. I think a good example is probably like Mira, who's a character that on a wall can put a window that you can only see through one way, and if you knock out the thing, the window drops, and then you could get the edge on somebody and shoot him. So obviously, being able to see one way through walls is a big game changer. Especially when pretty much the entire game is knowing where your other opponents are. Because if you know that, then you can get the drop on them. So it'll be interesting to see, and I think it's worth mentioning, Siege has, granted it came out in like 2015, so it's had time to improve and gain a bigger base. It has surpassed the most recent Call of Duty, and Call of Duty's been on a downward trend as well, but World War II is not a bad game. And so that just kind of shows you how big Siege actually is,
Well, what do you think of the Outbreak DLC? Are you interested in that at all? Or?
I mean,
I know you play this game a lot, so
yeah. Personally, I don't know that much about the Outbreak mode, but I'm sure I'll give it a look. But I haven't really even played much Terrasant in the game, which is the PvP mode.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly, just focus on PvP, so that's probably what I'll stick to, especially because we don't know how fluid. How fast paced is this zombie mode going to be? It can't be very fast paced because Siege is such a slow paced game. So, we'll have to wait and see on all the specifics of that mode. But
I just asked all these questions because I'm thinking about getting back into it, just to see. Because I mean, when we played that one time, it was actually kind of fun. So I'm like, kind of thinking to myself, like maybe I should get back into it now that they have all this, DLC and everything like that.
Yeah, you should, because like Game and Dave and Ice are playing it, and I know TiVo, he just tried it out over the free weekend. I don't know what his thoughts on the game are, but that's the other thing about the game. It can be pretty hard to get into because players of the game are assholes. There's a lot of team killing. They'll kill you if they or they'll kick you if you suck as well. So it's definitely can be hard to get into and can turn a lot of players off at first, but once you understand the game, it's a lot of fun. So any other thoughts on Siege? We kind of talked that one to death.
Well, yeah, no, I just wanted to say, just look at the strategy of Siege and look at the strategy of Destiny, and where you have great success, and then the other game, it starts off with great success, but it just teeters down into a fiery bliss spiral. You know what I'm saying? It's just it just every time I look, I see something about they're trying to change something on Destiny. They're trying to make this better. They're trying to nerf this. They're trying to nerf that. And I know that all the devs do that with their games to make it play better. But it just almost seems like they're in a desperation mode with a Bungie, compared to what you see with what's going on with Siege. And I think a lot of game companies are going to really look at that game model. I mean, that strategy of trying to prolong their games, because unlike PC gamers that kind of will just stay on a game for life, console gamers are totally different. There's a 4-month window. And so therefore, the one thing to keep it says a lot for Siege for people to keep on to play the game 2-3 years later, and people are still enamored with it, and they're still bringing content, and people are still buying it. So I think that if for other developers to look into something, they might want to look into what Siege is doing and what, of course, Rockstar and the ones that are successful and don't follow the Bungie category, or even Call of Duty, because even though they make tons of money, it's always on the front end, and people will always buy that first DLC. After that, they don't care anymore. You see what I'm saying? So,
good point. Moving on, anyways, though, Cyberpunk 2077, one of the creators came out with a statement, basically just saying, the game is going to be around 50 to 60 plus hours main story game, with probably a couple hundred hours of other side quest stuff if you really go into all of that. So, I mean, not much here, but obviously we talk about lengths of games a lot and what's acceptable, and this seems to be kind of, their standards. So how do you guys feel?
Well, that's the thing with I think his name is Iwinski. He basically was trying to say that, if you're paying full price, $60, he feels that, a game should be complete, and it should be over, 50 to 60 hours long. It should, with 100 hours of side content. CD Projekt Red, and that's why I will always love this company for that. They look at it and they say, well, we want to give our players a good RPG, but we want to give them more than what they expect. And it looks like that's what they're going to try to do with Cyberpunk 2077. And it's always good, man. It's good to see that a company coming out and saying, hey, this is, some of these $60 games aren't, cutting it. Some of them aren't, and I think some of these people need to, some of these developers need to go back to the drawing board, and not all of them. There are games that are like 10 hours, 15 hours long that are worth the $60, that are actually, fun. They're actually a lot of, good story, good gameplay, and everything like that. It's just, if you want something that's going to last you a long time, and you're not going to have to switch to another game, down the road or whatever, or save some money, why not pick up something like that's going to, last you for hundreds to, even thousands of hours, so he was just kind of explaining in that, and it was a good article.
Yeah, I'm more of a believer, that it's about the quality, not the quantity. However, with certain genres of games, you do have more of an expectation of what the time frame is going to be. With a more linear story-driven mode, I'm probably going to see more of a, let's say, 15-hour story than with an RPG. I expect a lot more. Obviously, a big world, things to do in that world, and I expect to spend a few days of game time in that game. And CD Projekt Red, they do put a lot of quality in their game, and they give you a lot as well. So they're obviously masters of that.
And you haven't even played The Witcher 3 yet, right?
No, but I'm obviously I've seen it, I've watched gameplay, I know what it's about. But yeah. Baines, Mega, you guys have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I'll let Baines go ahead, because he didn't say anything the last time, and then
it's CD Projekt Red, man. They gave us the game of the generation, Witcher 3. So, even when they say 50, 60 hours, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, so you really giving me 100 hours.
Yeah.
Well, that's what a couple hundred hours of side crap.
Yeah, so and all of their side stuff is really good. I mean, a lot of the side stories in The Witcher could have been their own little stories. You know what I'm saying? So I expect that content from them for this game. And you know, I'm just happy they're still on the same track. They're doing a lot of these other developers. They're making them look like crap out here, and that's what they should continue to do because you know we got high hopes for Cyberpunk 2077. It's on a pedestal. I hope they don't fall off that piece, but we'll see.
Definitely.
Yeah. As for me, I've put 346 hours into The Witcher, and I've just beat it last week. I'm sorry, this week, and man, it's like I still have more to do. I mean, I want 100%. I want 100%. I want 100% complete the game because it was so rich. It's so wonderful, and the fact that you made the one point that goes a long way with me, and that is they give you bang for your buck. They make you they make you feel like, wow, I'm robbing them because I only paid $60 for this game, or I paid a little bit more because I bought the DLC. That's when you know that you have one hell of a game. I mean, the games like, I know a lot of people knock sports games and they knock fighting games, but that's the one thing about those games that they have so much longevity. You know, they'll have a story and then you could just constantly fight and keep progressing and keep progressing. And that's the same feeling that I get with what CG Project Red did with The Witcher, and it's so good. Damn, it's so good. I mean, I played 2. I'm almost at the end of 2. Well, I was 1 on 360, and then I guess I didn't sync it, and the damn game I have to start all over. So I probably might jump. Yeah, I'm so pissed off about that. But anyway, it's just so like 346 hours into one thing is a lot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can tell you that there's people that damn put that much time into their significant other. So like you putting this into a video game is just stupid. And I can just only imagine how much time that you're going to be putting into Cyberpunk. They said because like you just were saying, it's going to be 100 plus. For me, that might be 500 hours. I might not get it done until the next generation of consoles come because the game sounds like it's going to be stupid big. It's going to be fantastic. And also a testament to them is that they are thorough. They read the books completely. They want everything to be authentic from the book, and that's saying something. And so yeah, they're the creme de la creme of developers. A lot of people like to talk about Naughty Dog. No, CG Project Red is that GOAT.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. All right, well, moving on, we got a couple little games here, but starting off with Onrush. It's supposed to be a MotorStorm racing game coming out soon. I never played MotorStorm, and I don't really have much interest in this game either, but does it tickle any of your guys' fancies?
I like the MotorStorm games. You know, those were a lot of fun. It kind of piques my interest a little bit. That's why I kind of threw it in there. You know, I was watching the trailer. It definitely feels like MotorStorm, but it's a racing game. It's niche. You know, like I always usually say. You know, racing games are niche. But it's definitely. It has something else about it that isn't MotorStorm, and that's kind of what I like, and I kind of want to see more. And hopefully it comes out and it's good. You know, I hope it's good. If it's not, then oh well. You know, it's not gonna be the end of the day because it's just a racing game.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Baines? You watch the little trailer on this? What did you
even though I'll keep every time we come across a racing type genre game, I say the same thing over and over. I'm not really into racing. The only racing game or series that I play is like the Forza Horizon series. That's it. That's it for me in racing. So I mean, it was cool for somebody that may like it, but not for me. I'll stick with the Horizon series, and that'll be it.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same track as you. I'm not a big racer fan. I don't even I have Forza Horizon 3, and I played it a bit, but I didn't even play it a ton. But I do kind of small little arcadey racers can be pretty fun at times, especially if you're just playing with some friends, couch co-op. So that's what I would look at more. But Mega, you got any thoughts on this game, Onrush?
Yeah, you guys sound like y'all are blasphemous right now. I'm about to give y'all all the ejecto seat. I'm like, what? We're talking about racing games, man. I'm a huge fan of racers. I love all types of racers, and for me, one, I love over the top racers. That's why, like, I miss Split Second. I miss MotorStorm, and I think that if this is MotorStorm on crack, where you got a lot of things going on, I've seen a little clip of it. I haven't seen the full trailer of what was going on, but what I did see, I was impressed. I'm going to cop it. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to beat it, and because I just love racers. I think it's just mindless fun. Like I'll be playing the racers. You know this, Artemis. Like when I'll be doing the next podcast, I love racers. They're just fun to play and to just a good time waster in that space. And I just like to be interested. I'm very interested in it. I'm stoked about it.
This is also coming from the same guy that likes Tekken, so yeah.
Tekken for the win, baby.
And our last game to sum up the podcast, we got this game called Children of Morta. It's a monster hunting or monster slaying family is what this game is. Who this game is about, kind of. I didn't get too much off the trailer, like exactly what everything was about, but based off of it, I mean, I'm actually pretty interested in this game. It looks like it could have, some pretty good depth to it, and I really like the art style as well. So, what are you guys' thoughts?
Well, here's the thing: they announced this game at PSX last year. They never said anything about it coming to Xbox or anything like that, and come to find out, it is coming to other consoles. I think it's coming to PlayStation 4. It's coming to Xbox One. I think it's coming to PC. I'm not too sure if it's coming to Switch, but it looks like a pixelated Diablo game. It's definitely going to have the looting and the leveling up and things like that. I'm kind of intrigued by the story a little bit with this family that goes out and slays monsters. It's kind of interesting. I'm kind of interested in the game. I know it's an indie game, and I know how you guys know how I feel about indies, but it definitely looks interesting. I definitely want to check it out. I mean, I'm gonna keep my eye on it. I'm gonna maybe buy it when it comes out. Who knows? I'm kind of jonesing for something like Diablo, but I just don't want to go back and play Diablo because I don't really like it on the console. I like it more on the PC, and I don't feel like playing on PC right now. So I'm just kind of like jonesing for something like that.
Well, I mean, there are some other Diablo games out there, like what is it? Path of the Exiles, I think, is in.
I heard that was terrible
or
though.
Something, right?
Oh,
Really?
No. Path. I'm a level 28 on Path of Exiles. That game is legit. That game is better than Diablo 3.
I heard good things. I've heard good things about it.
It is amazing.
That it builds upon Diablo.
It's great. So. It's great. It's better than Diablo 3. Of course, Diablo 3 is a very old game.
Right.
Path of Exiles came out just a couple of years ago, but started on PC. But I'm telling you, it feels so good on a console. And I was playing it before I got my X, and when I played it on my X, it's even better. So yeah, it looks great. It's in 4K. It's fantastic.
Well, I might have to give Path of the Exiles a look because I am kind of in a similar boat as you, Artemis, and I knew Path of the Exiles looked more. That game definitely, is a real reminder of Diablo, I think. But this game was it felt like, Diablo, but different with a twist. And that's why it has my interest more than, say, Path of the Exiles would have. So I'm actually, pretty interested in this game as well. But if it, I might have to give Path of the Exiles a look as well. Because I haven't really looked that much in
give it a shot, man. I love it.
That's the thing. I think, Path of Exile kind of looks like a mixture of Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. It just kind of, it takes kind of like the art style of Diablo 2, where it kind of looks a little bit more realistic.
It looks too similar, almost.
And then they kind of throw in that Diablo 3 kind of gameplay where, you're kind of, hacking and slashing, basically. I mean, I might go check that out too, but I think I'm kind of more interested in this Children of Morta. It seems like it's going to be more a along the lines of what something I would want to play. But I'll definitely try to check it out, especially since KMEGA is recommending it.
Yeah, and then y'all guys let me know because I love it. Me and 100, excuse me, played it for we played it for weeks, and then Cuphead came out, and then Fortune Cuphead came out, and that was it. We just kind of stopped playing, and then Mikey Barra was like a level like 50, and so I'm like, man, how do you get there? And he's like, when you get to a level 50, then me and you can jump in and play. I'm like, all right, cool. But yeah, like it's really fun. It's got a lot of layers to it. It's got a kind of cool story to it. You can kind of follow. I love the powers because you can mix and match. I can switch up and take I could be using an axe because I'm a big guy. And so then I could take away the axe and I could use my bow and I could start using the bow. I can still keep my magical powers. You just got a whole assortment of things, man. I think even more power. You can even hold on to more powers than you can in Diablo. It's really cool, man. I definitely want to hear what you guys think about it. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. Might have to give that a look.
After the Exiles, they had that. They had like a free trial or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it. It was kind of slow to me. I really didn't get into it. I tried, but I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
As far as this game, I guess I'm gonna be the closed-minded one this time. I don't care about it. I mean, I look down and I was like, man, I'm straight on this shit. It look like trash. I'm sorry. It look like trash.
You're the indie guy, man.
It may not be trash. I couldn't do it with this one. I don't know, something about it just put me off. So, you know.
Mm-hmm.
After the Exile, it seemed like it was slow to me. I didn't get into it, but it seemed like if you do get into it, then it's something that you have to give it some time. And I think at the point I was playing it, it was just when that free trial, whatever they had, little beta for the Xbox. I just played it during that time, and I actually thought like, okay, when I get some downtime, I'm gonna go back and really try to get into it because it is. I can tell it's something there, but it didn't get me during that little free period. So I'll say I'll give it the Path of the Exiles, but this game right here, I'm straight on that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I'm with you. I was talking about Path of Exiles, giving that praise. This shit can go to Hades. I don't. I'm not interested in it. I mean, look, it's not. I looked at it.
It's all pixelated and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, look, man. I started gaming in the Atari era, man. No, I don't want to go back. I just look at it like, I think there's like 2 games that I could play. That's pixelated. I think one is Shovel Knight, and the other one is the it's where you a whole bunch of people, and every time that you die, another person comes in its place. And I forgot what the name of that game was. I haven't played in a long time. But that's it. Like all the rest of the games, I want to see. I want to see something. I want to see strong graphics, and I want to see at least more realistic looking graphics to a point. To just no pixels, no old school Atari. Stop it. I can't stand it. Give me something that I can look at that's visually appetizing. You know what I'm saying? And so,
I rather personally I rather have, a wide array of different artworks and different genres. I like realism in some games, cartoony styles in others, and pixelation and stuff in other games too, especially because I feel like some games, they can do something that really makes, the pixelated graphics looks good, especially in, there's a lot more color you can add to a pixelated game these days as well.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on how it's done. Like, to me, this is just, I just can't get with that. But just think about the game that Xbox has coming out. I don't know when it's coming out, but they showed it at E3. It's called Late Night. That one that had kind of like the 3D world and then the pixelated character. He was pixelated.
Oh, the Last Night.
Last Night, yeah. Now that one, I could probably get into something like that.
It does look cool. I mean, that game when they showed that off at E3, I was just like, dang, all right, I'm in on that. Even though I don't like indies, I'm in on that because it's got that post-apocalyptic, well, not post-apocalyptic. It's got that cyberpunk, type of world, and I kind of like that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that was an interesting game. Yeah,
give me Scott Pilgrim versus the World again as backward compat. because I already bought it. I just want to play it again because I didn't get to beat it. I can do that. I can rock that. That's it. For me, when I see pixel games, I'm like, oh man, no, please. This takes me back. I mean, look,
So
this makes me feel
last
old.
night didn't do anything for you then?
Huh?
You saw it?
No, that's not the game. No, that's not the game with the guy jumping around on the guitar, is it? No, that's
no.
No. Okay, no, I don't. Obviously, it wasn't because I don't remember what game you're talking about. So, you know what I'm saying? So it just went. I seen pixels and they just went away. Look, give me Metro Light. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. Now look, as for games that like for cartoon games, like it's cartoon looking games. Like I was skeptical of Sea of Thieves until I actually played Sea of Thieves, and then my whole perspective of it completely changed. You know, I am a guy that likes those more realistic looking games, and most people probably would say, well, why are you not a PlayStation fan? It's because, you know, to me, most of those PlayStation games have a similar feel to them, and you know,
well, most of them are anime. They're more anime looking type of games, you know.
Yeah,
like,
besides like their big AAA.
Yeah, I'm talking about their big
like,
AAA. Yeah, like I mean, Horizon Zero Dawn is a total different looking game, and I dig that. I love that game. You know, for what it is. Story wise, it's a little stale, but I mean, just for it's totally different. And just for like when you look at like, you know, I've already said how I feel about God of War, but for other games like for The Last of Us and for other games, I'm like, you know what? Days Gone, they just got that same feel to me. Now I love Neo. I think that's a great game. Nier Automata, stuff like that. I like those different type of games like that, but it's just to me, you know, when it comes to the pixels, can't do it. Can't rock it. Don't want them. Get out of here.
All right. Well, unless we've got any other wrapping up statement, guys, we'll go ahead and get on out of here. So we'll start off with these outros with UK Mega. Where can we find you throughout the week, man?
Man, you can catch me on my channel, KMEGA405. Man, please be so kind to hit that subscribe button. You know, just catch out my videos, catch out the GRG podcast that comes out every Friday night. Don't know if we're going to have the show this Friday night because I have to work, but we might have Delilah or, oh my God, maybe 100 host the show. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. but yeah, you can check us out there. And the GRG podcast comes on every Friday night. Also, you can catch me on Twitter at KMEGA4. And yeah, man, I'm glad to be here, man. First time. Hopefully it's not the last time.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to have you back on, and definitely a pleasure to have you on, man. So we thank you for coming out. Yeah. But getting into Baines, man, where can we find you?
MBaines99, Xbox, PlayStation, and Twitter. We appreciate K-Mega for coming through. Good show. And we out.
For sure. And Adamus, where can we find you, man?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitter at Dark Adamus. You can also find me on Xbox Live at the same name. You can also check me out every Saturday on the next podcast at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And K-Mega, thanks so much for coming out here tonight and hanging out with us, man. It was an absolute blast having you on here. Definitely going to have to get you back on here again sometime in the future. You guys can also go into the description below and hit up our Facebook page. It's right there in the description. Just check it out. Go over there and hit that follow button. You know, maybe like some of the stuff that's on there. Also, hit that like and subscribe button because we definitely appreciate it on here on this channel because, you know, we want to continue to keep giving you guys this content. And, you know, if you guys don't subscribe and like it, then we won't.
Let me say one thing because you know I do this all the time on Next. I'm used to doing multiplayer, and by that time I'm so exhausted, I'm just ready to get the hell out of there. So I forgot to give shout outs to Next Podcast, to BGST, and to Intro Media Gaming. I always do this, but anyway, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, big shout out to those guys and ladies, and yeah.
Dude, you can't give plugs after you gave your plug.
I do it all the time, man, because look, I'm used to the multiplayer where it's just wild and hectic and people just talking crazy.
The Ghetto Podcast?
Pretty much. It's pretty roguish up in there, man. So, you know, I would advise you to stay away. But it's But it's thank you for giving me my second outro.
Yeah, man, for sure.
For sure. Again, a pleasure to have you on, Mega. As for myself, I've been your host for the night, Remix Essence. You can find me on Twitter, Xbox, PlayStation at Remix Essence. So hit me up and let's play some games. Anyways, everybody, thank you for coming out, enjoying the show, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, everyone.